Hello and welcome back to Seconds Out. My name is Eamon Khan here once again with trainer Dave Coldwell, inducted into the Bieber Hall of Fame. Dave, great to see. Congratulations, of course, first of all. Must have been a great occasion for you.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Appreciate that. Yeah, a little bit. I felt. I said to my wife and my daughter that was there. My daughter came over from. She's DJing in Ibiza. She got residency. She came over. They surprised me on Friday. I didn't know she was going to be here. I was gutted because I didn't think she was going to be there. And she was. And I said to him when we was there, I was looking around the room. I was looking who was there. I'm sat on a table with James Cook, and you're seeing everybody around. Kind of felt a little bit like that imposter syndrome. It's a massive honor, and I feel very, very privileged and very, very grateful. But at the same time, when you stood on that stage and you're looking at everybody and they're talking about you, and you see the people that are like legends and heroes in over the years of boxing, yeah, a real honor. But not one that I feel that I'm anywhere, I'm anywhere near, deserving. So, but yeah, it's something that'll, it'll stay with me. I've been in boxing 34 years. I started training boxers in 1996. I had my first gym in 2000, and I've been a manager and a coach, professional coach since 2000. So yeah, it's been a good ride, a long ride, and I put a little post up saying, I've met so many people. There's so many people in the game that have been part of it, part of the story. Not just people that you'll have heard of, but people that have worked for promoters, people that have worked behind the scenes for promoters and TV people and things like that have always been great with me, and it's all part of the story. And then obviously, the fighters that I've worked with throughout, whether it's journeyman, people like Daniel Thorpe, Paul Royston, and then your Dean Walkers, and then your good solid pros that have won titles like Lee Merter, Dean Walker, and then going on to Ryan Rhodes, Kell Brook, and beyond into the Bellews and Chisoras, and it's been a great journey. And then the recent few years with the fighters I've worked with, again, some talent, some just good people, and stable I've got now. I love what I do. And so I just feel as though I'm lucky to get up every morning. I'm healthy, and I go to the gym. I'm with my pals, and we talk, we study, and we create the best that we can be in boxing, and yeah, it's good. It's good. And so to get recognized for something like that, it's nice because it's been a long process, and it's nice because then you think back to times when when you started, and everyone said, "Oh, you'll never do anything. Oh, you'll last 2 minutes," and things like that. And then 34 years later, getting recognized by your peers and people that have been around the game for years and years and years, it's nice. It's just nice.
Was that, I imagine parts of that were in the speech you gave?
No, I didn't speak. A few of the guys did a little speech and took the mic and stuff, but I didn't. I was just privileged just to be there for that was it.
Good sentiment nonetheless. I appreciate your response there, Dave. There's a couple of fighters, I'm sure, as well, too, who are on this card coming up this weekend who will probably find themselves in Hall of Fames in the future. And I wanted to get your take on the card and the undercard. Just want to get your thoughts on this undercard as well, too, Dave. We've discussed AJ Dubois, and there are a couple of questions I want to add to that. But getting first into the undercard, starting off with Willy Hutchinson versus Joshua Buatsi. A good fight
That's a good
between the
fight.
two of them, and we've seen a bit more spite from Joshua Buatsi in the build-up to this one. He's normally a lot more calm and collected in the build-up, but he seems to have a bee under his bonnet with Willy Hutchinson. Will that change the course of the fight? Has Willy got into his head? What do you think of the fight?
Do you know what? It's a bit of an unknown because we've never seen, or I've certainly never seen Joshua Buatsi reacting like this in coming up to a fight. He's always very, very laid back, cool, calm, very, very just single-minded about what he's going to do, but never says anything controversial, doesn't do anything controversial. And his demeanor is always like that. This time, you don't know because he's reacting and because he's showing, he's showing that true disdain towards how Willy's behaving towards him and what Willy's saying to him. So he has definitely got under his skin, but whether that has an impact on Josh on fight night, I don't know. Buatsi's a very good fighter, and even when his demeanor's like that going into a fight, when he gets in the ring, he can be a vicious fighter. He is vicious, vicious puncher, attitude. He wants to seek and destroy. So with this, where we can see blatantly that he wants to go in there and do a number on him, does he try too hard, and then does that mess up his time and his accuracy, and it's too tense in his delivery, and where that might allow Willy with his slick, awkward, tricky sort of skills, does that allow him to frustrate him more, get him missing and countering and peppering, and does that make him unravel? Or is it a case of where Buatsi is just that experienced, and he knows his own self and he's comfortable in his own self, however way he chooses to go outwardly, the inner fighter in him just goes out there and does what he does always. I think this gives him I think he's definitely going to be loading up to destroy more. But if he's smart with it, it just makes him more of a must-watch fighter, and this a more of a must-watch fight. Because Willy Hutchinson is a very, very good fighter. I believe that with what he's gone through and then the win that he had last time, I think that confidence will just be oozing out of him. But Buatsi's been a consummate professional for years, and he, I think the body punching, and if that's the way he goes, I think the body punching will have an effect on Willy. So I would lean towards Buatsi to beat him. It's going to be tricky early doors. It's one of those where if he has got into Buatsi's head, where Buatsi's not using his brain and he's fighting with his heart and his aggression too much, then it could be a frustrating night. And the more frustrated he gets, the more he walks onto shots and the peppering, and it can take its toll. So we know that Buatsi gets hit with the right hands. Throughout his career, he's been hit with right hands. And you don't want to be taking too many right hands against Willy Hutchinson. But I do think, although Craig Richards didn't do much in the fight, I thought when there was I don't know, around 7, 8, something like that, he started firing right hands straight to the body of Willy, and they seemed to have an impact. And it just, when if a fight seems to sway, and you kind of thought, oh, is this swaying in the other way now? And Willy looked a little bit ragged. But then Craig stopped throwing those body shots and was back waiting and headhunting, and Willy got himself together and just got himself together and continued winning the fight. I just think that Virgil Hunter is a key factor in the fight.
Yeah.
He's a very, very calming influence. When me and Stephen Cairns was out in San Francisco, I think it was. We went over to it was San Francisco. We went over to Virgil's gym, and I saw him at work with just finishing. But I just saw him around Buatsi, and it's so good it's just to be around him, and you see that demeanor, you see how Josh is with him. I think no matter how his emotions are with Willy at the press conference fight week, with the weighing at fight, because trust Willy's going to be trying to get under his skin even more. No matter what buttons he's pressing, I just think that influence around him is going to bring him back down and remind him what they've been working on, remind him what his job is, and to be focused. And I think that'll be a key in the fight. And I think the body punches will be the difference in a fight. I think it'll be a good fight. I think it'll be tricky early doors. Willy's going to have success. But ultimately, I do think that Buatsi beats him.
A little bit disappointing that we won't be getting Josh Kelly versus Liam Smith, as Liam Smith had to pull out with an infection. In steps Ishmael Davis, who, as far as I'm aware, with Ishmael, in amongst some of the trainer talk behind the scenes, is a bit of a hidden secret and hasn't really had his opportunity to show how good he is as a fighter. Now he's stepping in.
He's got it now.
Yeah, and he's stepping on short notice, though. First of all, Dave, before you dissect the fight, I just wonder how much can a fighter show the full reflection of themselves on a short notice replacement in a fight?
It depends if when you say short notice, is it short notice as he's been at home, chilling, getting fat, not really training hard, having a couple of little sessions? If that's the case, then he ain't going to be able to do nothing. But if he's been living the life, and if he's been, just in case any of these big shows fall out, Brendan always used to have us doing, we lived all the time training, and I make sure that my fighters are in the gym all the time. So you're not killing yourself. You're not at full throttle. But it's like, for instance, Stephen Cairns, his last fight was on 3 weeks' notice. I know it's not the level, but what I'm saying is, if he hadn't been in the gym, and a lot of fighters want to wait for a date before they're in the gym. If you're a fighter that sees it as a profession, and that is your job, and you are ticking over all the time, you're around your weight, you're not ballooning too far, and then the phone call comes, you can step in. I would say Ishmael must be falling into that category, because he doesn't need to take an opportunity on the last minute. No, he's just signed a deal with Matchroom, I believe. So he's looked after. He's got it mapped out there. He understands that all he's got to do is keep winning, and he's going to get a title shot anyway. But he must be in that gym training, and he must feel as though, and his team must feel as though he's in shape to win the fight. He won't be going in there I'm just going to go in there and give it a go. He must feel as though he's capable of winning the fight. So I expect him to be, to be in good shape. Not the best, obviously, not the best, because it's not been a full camp, but he'll be somewhat around. Whether that's good enough to beat Josh Kelly, that's another matter.
Mm-hmm. Okay, moving forward to Anthony Cacace versus Josh Warrington. A real good fight, real interesting fight in prospect as well, too. Who do you favour in that one? Who do you think gets their hands raised? Yeah.
It's a really good fight. Listen, Cacace is a bit of it's a bit of an animal, heavy-handed. Everybody you speak to, everybody sparred with him tells you he can really, really punch. And we saw last time out he can punch. Josh Warrington, a lot of us, me included, all wrote him off as wear and tear, damaged goods. He's come to that stage of his career now. He's not the same fighter. And then I'll be honest with you, the fight against Lee Wood, that's the best I've seen him for a long time, apart from the ending. And up until that point, we was watching it and thinking, flipping out, he looks really good. He looks sharp. He looks fresh. It wasn't just standing there taking shots. He was raiding. It was good. It was very, very good. I think that version of Warrington beats Cacace. But the ending was quite damaging. At this stage of your career, the ending was quite damaging. On top of the fights that he's had previously as well. When fighters get to this sort of stage of the careers, you've got to think how much is left. Like I said, that was a surprise last time out with Warrington. With Lee Wood. But I don't know. I don't know what's still there. He'll be up for it. He'll be as fit as a fiddle. He'll be on top of his game in them sort of terms, because he's got a shot now. Do you know what I mean? From kind of being in wilderness and waiting on, does the rematch happen with Lee Wood? Without that, where's his in? He's now got an in. And so he'll be buzzing in camp, he'll be buzzing in training, and so he'll be ready. But now, same goes for Anthony Cacace, is that he's kind of like, he's been around a long time. He's had a great reputation in the gyms, but he never had that break. He never had that big fight. He never had that exposure. And now he's had it, and he's become champ, and he beat Cordina, and his confidence will be massive now. His belief, he'll be happy in his career and everything he's accomplished. And now he's in the big fights. He'll understand what's right in front of him, especially now he's on the Riyadh season shows and things like that. So he's going to be a better fighter. So this makes a really, really good fight. I don't know, but I'm gonna say, if we've got the Warrington of Lee Wood, apart from the ending, I think he wins. I think Warrington wins. I think he's got one more in him, but I genuinely don't know, because I just feel that Cacace will be better now. But I'm gonna lean towards Warrington, I think.
Would you back that as a points victory?
Oh, yeah. I think either Josh wins on points, or Cacace knocks him out.
Okay. And then to the chief support, Tyler Denny versus Hamzah Sheeraz. Denny, someone who's really kind of earned his opportunity from the smaller, lower profile fights and small hall scenes. And Hamzah Sheeraz has been, look, we've talked about him as a big prospect in the country, and he's proven that to be. He's had a couple of hiccups, but he's rose against them. And now they're both in where it's a fight kind of from the outside looking in. From my point of view, you kind of want them both to win, but of course, neither that can't be the case. What do you think is the factor, or the edging factor, for either fighter to get the victory here?
I think it's a really good fight. It's a really good fight, and it's one that I think it's going a little bit under the radar, perhaps because it's such a good card. Because there's I think that's all it is. Hamzah Sheeraz, I really, really rate. I think he's a very, very good fighter. His physical advantage he has in the division are mad. He's absolutely huge for the weight. Tyler Denny, like you said, he's come up the hard way. Is a good boxer. Is a seasoned campaigner away from the limelight. Now he's got in the limelight. He's enjoying himself. He just seems to be growing and growing as a fighter. But Sheeraz is going to be patient. He's probably going to know he's going to miss a few shots, but he's going to throw away a few shots to land his meaningful, tellingful blows. Denny's perhaps going to be the busier of the two fighters. I think Sheeraz's bodywork could be a key in the fight. I don't know, because Hamzah can be hit and he can be hurt. Obviously he's recovered. He has recovered. But perhaps maybe the physical advantages, the jab's going to be hard for Denny to negate in a way that he doesn't walk straight into a right hand, or even the left up, because he's the range that he's got on him. If Sheeraz uses that jab effectively, then that could be make things really, really difficult for Denny to get his work done. I think Denny could perhaps look to smash and grab. Lots kind of like launch his raids either too close or too far out. So it's too far out, so Hamzah can't get his shots off, and then try and give an angle and spring in and get the odd shot off on the, as he's coming in, and when he's there, a couple of digs while referee saying break because he gets in too close. Could be one of them kind of fights in terms of how he's going to win the fight. He's got to try and get it a little bit like that, because Sheeraz can actually dig up close as well. But he's got to kind of like time him and be too close. It can't get no leverage on his shots as well. I think it's a good fight, but I'd probably lean towards the physical attributes that Sheeraz has got.